श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदम् यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात्। सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूति सहितम् स्यादीश्वर त्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्येतत् पुनरष्टधा परिणतं च ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम्। तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम्। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदम्। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। हरि ओम।
महादेव 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 महादेव। Is the audio okay?
Mahadev Swamiji, it is okay, Swamiji.
All right. Maybe we can start. Om Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tamha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnana Ghanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Vedantartha Vibhasakaya Gurave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghapavaye योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत् पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततम् पूर्णाय बोधात्मने ब्रह्माहं यत्प्रसादेन मयि विश्वं प्रकल्पितम् श्रीमत्स्वयं प्रकाशाख्यम् प्रणौमि जगतां गुरुम् यः परमात्मा जगत्सृष्ट्वा प्रविवेश पुनः स्वयम् तं कृष्णं प्रत्यगात्मानं वन्दे गोपीमनोहरम् यस्य प्रसादादहमद्वयात्मा विश्वं समस्तं मयि कल्पितं च तं सर्वलोकैक गुरुं सदाश्री स्वयं प्रकाशम् गुरुमानतोऽस्मि गुरूणां चरणां भोजम् प्रणिपत्य निरन्तरम् तत्कृपालेशतोऽद्वैत चिन्ता कौस्तुभमारभे ओम्। In order to refute the Purva Paksha, the opponent's claims, the procedure which is applied is to deconstruct, dismantle the very postulates of their philosophy. Presently, when it was said that there is tadatmyam, now I'm going to use the word tadatmyam, and hopefully we are all very much comfortable using the word tadatmyam because we have spent good amount of time in trying to understand what is tadatmyam. So when it is said there is tadatmyam between the conditionings, and therefore there is tadatmyam even between that what is that the conditioned expressions. What is the conditioning? There are two conditionings: the samashti sukshma sharira and the vyashti sukshma sharira. The total gross body and the total subtle body and the individual subtle body. The mind, the indriyas, the pranas, all this together is the individual subtle body. And since they are all the parinama, the modification, or they emerge from the subtle elements, ungrossified elements. So the subtle body consists of apanchikruta panchamahabhutas, the 10 indriyas, the prana, and the man and buddhi. So the mind, the psychology. The mind which one is endowed with is a part of the total mind. The indriyas which are available as the capacity in the organs to do their respective functions is a part of the total capacity. And this capacity can express anywhere, whether it be a mosquito or a cow or an amoeba or even a human being, anywhere. As long as that organism is able to see the colors and forms, it means it is the chakshurindriya that is there. But the chakshurindriya will function according to now the form in which they are functioning. For example, when the chakshurindriya functions through the human forms, a particular range of the colors is available for the chakshurindriya to illumine. If it was to function through the cat's eye or some other animal's body, now the chakshurindriya will have some different range of colors to illumine. And if it was to function through a bee's body, a honeybee's body, it will still be different. Nevertheless, we should remember it is the chakshurindriya. Now, the chakshurindriya, which is available in this body, in this individual identity, is a part of this total chakshurindriya. Just as the air in our lungs is a part of the total air. So therefore, the total subtle body and the individual subtle body, between these two, there is tadatmyam, being the part of it. Or else to understand, it simply means not only as a part of the total, but this totality is anusyuta, that is what it flows silently through it. Just as gotvam is the jati and go is the vyakti. The cowness is the species and the cow is the individual vyakti. And there is a tadatmyam between these two. So with this example, the author has used, the teacher, the Vedantin has used the word tadatmyam. And this is very important because now the Vaisheshika jumps into the arena and he says between the jati and vyakti, or between the general and specific, between the part and the whole, you can say that there is samavaya sambandha and not tadatmyam. So he comes to say there is no tadatmyam, there is samavaya. Now his claim is deconstructed over here, refuted over here by saying, sir, even before you can claim that there is samavaya sambandha between these two, between the jati and vyakti, or between the guna and guni, the substance and its attributes, you first of all will have to prove that there is something called as samavaya sambandha. You will have to prove the existence of samavaya sambandha. And if it is a fact, then it can get proven by employing lakshana and pramana. According to you, sir, the Vedanta is telling the Vaisheshika that what you call as samavaya sambandha is nitya sambandha. If you ask the Shruti, other than Brahman, nothing is nityam. And therefore, to say that there is one sambandham, the relationship between the two, which two? Let us say the substance and the attribute. The pot, and when you are going to say the red pot, so the redness is the attribute of the pot. So now over here, the pot becomes the substance. The color red is the attribute of the pot. So between these two, between the substance and its attribute, there is a samavaya sambandha, and it is not tadatmya sambandha, for which you will first of all have to prove what is tadatmyam. And is samavaya, samavaya sambandha. According to you, this samavaya sambandha, this relationship is something which is always present, nityam. But if you are going to use the Shruti Pramanam, the Shruti will not agree. The Pramanam shows that there is only one Nitya Vastu. There is only one thing which can be said as to be timeless, and that is Brahman. That which is beginningless, that which is endless, is only Brahman. And you are saying there is this samavaya sambandha is nitya, then it is not acceptable by the Shruti Pramana. Now he jumps in and he again has to, because he now wants to refute the Vedanti. He says, sir, according to you, even avidya is the ignorance is also anadi, which means something that is beginningless. That what is beginningless is also endless, and therefore then avidya will also become something that is nitya along with Brahman. And therefore, even if you accept that Brahman, that Shruti Pramanam is there to say Brahman is nitya, yet even without saying, now your avidya will also become another nityam. And if you are going to accept avidya as nitya vastu like Brahman, then might as well accept samavaya. Why are you so allergic to this samavaya that we are presenting? So therefore, now he has used another route to strike back, and we have seen that. To which the Vedanti replied, saying that which is anadi, anadi bhavasya, that which is existing and is anadi, beginningless, is not necessarily endless. It doesn't have to be endless. Nacha anadi bhavasya nityatva niyamaha. Why? Tasya aropitattvena jnana nivartyatvad. Though this ignorance is, though this, now pay attention, this is because there are 2 points over here which we must remember. Okay, let us not take things simply for granted. That Swamiji keeps on talking the same thing. It may appear that there are these similar things, but it is not the same thing. And so, because why? Because we are dealing with a text which is much advanced, and it means that it is going to go into the finer details. It will go into the finer details of the argument. It is not going to make this is not sweeping the things under the carpet. Okay. But Swamiji, we thought that Vedanta means something like that, This is not an entertainment, friends. I have to talk about it, tell again and again. This is a Gambhira Vishaya. Means that it is something extremely deep. Some jokes of husband and wife and things like that is not going to suffice. That is not called as mananam. It may be called as, chanchu pravesha. At the most, if it is right, then it may be called as just a superficial entry. But here we are dealing with the Shastriya Vishaya, which is very, very technical. So our patience and our tenacity will pay, provided we stay alert and keep abreast with the topic. So now, what has happened? Let us look. The thing is, if ignorance is existing, because it is existing, you cannot say it is non-existent, like the horn of the rabbit. No, sir. It is there because it is able to produce the result. Let us go back to the example of snake and rope. Since the person did not know it is a rope, meaning there is ignorance about the rope, and therefore now the ignorance has caused the experience of snake for the person. So ignorance has modified, his own ignorance has modified into snake, not knowing it is a rope which is existing, has modified into a snake. So it is something there. What ignorance means, something which is existing. It is not something which is non-existent, like the horn of a rabbit, Shashashringavat. It is not like that. Though this ignorance, and since when is the ignorance? So it always was there. Not that you can show a point in time when you can say the ignorance was born, or the ignorance was constructed, compiled, created, manufactured. Ignorance cannot be manufactured. Ignorance is always there. So it is anadi, it is beginningless. Now, the Vaisheshika, the opponent over here, he's saying that which is anadi has to be nitya. That what is beginningless is timeless. And we are saying that which is beginningless will also comes to an end, and ignorance, though is beginningless, comes to an end in wake of knowledge. So ignorance ends. Another thing about the ignorance is that it is adhyaropitam. It is only an appearance, a superimposition. How? Like the snake. Which snake? The snake on the rope. Okay, because we are in Vedanta class, that means we are not talking about any other snake. For us, there is just now, throughout all our classes and every book, the snake means the Rajju Sarpa only. The snake on the rope. The snake on the rope is something which is seen, and it is only a projection which goes away when the knowledge, this is a rope, takes place. So this snake, which is an appearance, has got one more quality, and that quality is it is jnana nivartyatvam, that it can be eradicated through knowledge. So what do we understand from here? The appearance is something which gets eradicated through knowledge. Just as the snake goes away with the knowledge, the ignorance also goes away through knowledge, and therefore we are saying ignorance also has the same status. Which status? The status of being an appearance. Ignorance also has the status of being an appearance. Superimposition. And another golden rule is that which is an appearance cannot cause duality. Okay? That what is an appearance does not cause duality. So now, though the ignorance is beginningless, it is not nityam, nor will it cause duality, and therefore you cannot say that it's like the ignorance which is nityam might as well accept samavaya also as nityam. Come back to the discussion on samavaya sambandha. You cannot say this. So the Vaisheshika is now proven to be that Vaisheshikas postulate that there is samavaya sambandha and it is nityam is not shruti siddham. It is not known or it is not established through the shabda pramanam. No, naturally he will say that it may not everything has to come through shabda pramanam. Not everything has to come through shabda pramanam. Something can be pratyaksha, something can come through anumana pramanam also. So let us look. Is there a possibility that Samavaya can be established through the Pratyaksha and the Anumana Pramana? But before we go to that, there is something more. On page number 81, in the commentary section, in the third paragraph, the first line. न च तर्हि अनन्ताद्वितीयसिद्धये प्रपञ्चस्य ब्रह्मकार्यत्वप्रतिपादनम् असङ्गतम् इति वाच्यम्. Okay. Because the Purva Paksha is going to say, sir, all that you wanted to say is Brahman is Nityam. All that you wanted to say is Brahman is Anantam, limitless. What procedure have you employed? You have employed the procedure by saying Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Okay? What? In order to prove the Anantatvam of Brahman, limitlessness of Brahman, you have employed a process, a thought process, a process of saying Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Through that, you are going to prove Adviti, non-duality and limitlessness of Brahman. Does this not appear very strange? Why then you have to go into this? And therefore, it is asangatam. The whole thing is not coherent. Asangatam. It is not coherent. Asangatam. Because it does not have link with what you have to prove. So it is asangatam. The teacher says, iti navacham. Don't say like that, because that means it is sangatam. It is perfectly in tandem and has a link. It is coherent. It is not incoherent. Okay? Tarhi anantadvitiya siddhe prapanchasya brahmakaryatva pratipadanam asangatam iti navacham. The na which is there in the beginning, bring it to vacham, and you will understand what is the intention of the teacher over here. Iti navacham. Why? Nahi vayam prag asataha satta yogyatvam ha. Nahi vayam prag asataha satta yogyatvam adyakshana sambandhitvam va karyatvam brumaha. Then all the way that you have gone, who the Purva Paksha is saying. And we have to remember where is the Purva Paksha and what is the reply of the Siddhanti. Be very, very alert. Let not, do not take things for granted or kan pavitra mat karna. The shabda will fall into the karna shashkuli mind, and something pavitra will happen. No, this is a very intense text. It is a proud, it is an advanced text again and again. Therefore, every line that every sentence and statement, we have to pay ample attention. You cannot be flying tangent. This can't be read as a novel or just as a poetry or some, a casual thing. A casual attitude to this book cannot bring you its result. And the result is the eradication of all doubts and settling, knowing with confidence, with certainty that the Upanishad saying Atma is Brahman is defectless. Thus, then this will be called as Shravanam because it is leading to Tatparya Nishchaya, Siddhi, Siddhi Nama Nishchaya, certainty. There is a pseudo certainty because people have that confidence. Yeah, whatever is said is true. How true? This fellow does not know. And then he becomes a fanatic. This is not a book for anybody to become fanatic, but it goes, yes, categorically. There is certainty about it, but you will also observe even fanatics are also very, very certain. Many years ago, there was this interview of a terrorist, and in that he was asked, one of the reporters really, found his way in Kashmir to talk to these people. And it is recorded, video recorded. So in that interview, he asked terrorist that what if your masters asked you to gun down your own brother, would you? And even without batting his eye, the terrorist said yes. He asked, what if these same masters that you are serving had asked you to shoot your mother? Without a hesitation or any remorse or even without any thought, the man said yes. Now look at that. There is a certainty, confidence. This certainty and confidence is a result of fanaticism. A scientist is also certain, but it is not because of his adamancy. It is out of knowledge. Therefore, do not equate confidence to the certainty of knowledge. People may appear very, very confident, but that confidence may have different roots. It is ignorance masquerading as confidence. There is confidence of knowledge, there is confidence of ignorance too. Anyway, so now he says, in order to prove Brahman is limitless and Brahman is non-dual, you have got a prakriya, a procedure, and that procedure is in showing that this world is Brahmakaryam. So when you say Brahman is Jagat Karanam, what is Jagat? Brahmakaryam. The question is, what is Brahman? You will say Jagat Karana. Similarly, if there is a question, what is this world? Then the answer, which will be appropriate, which will be the flip side of Brahman being Jagat Karanam. What is the flip side? What is Jagat? Brahma Karyam. So Karya and Karana relationship. Brahman is Karanam, Jagat is Karyam. Brahman is the cause, Jagat, the world, is the effect. So you have used the process of showing the world as the effect of Brahman, Karyam, to prove what? The non-duality and limitlessness of the Brahman. Okay. And teacher says that this is not asangatam, it is not incoherent, it is sangatam. It is perfectly in resonance with reasoning. It has not gone tangent from reasoning. It is very much in resonance with reasoning. And why are you saying it is not incoherent? To which now we will see the reply given. He says, Nahi vayam prag asataha satta yogyatvam adyakshana sambandhitvam va karyatvam brumaha. We do not say what is karyam. I mean, we do not define the effect as something which was non-existent before and comes into existence later as the effect. You understand this position? Oh, this is not an earthquake. My book just hit the stand. Now what happens is, the part is the effect because it is created. And we are able to say that the pot is effect because the clay is the karanam, material cause, and the pot maker is the nimitta karanam, efficient cause. So there is a material cause and there is an efficient cause. Pot is the effect. So this person says that pot was non-existent before this point of time. And the next moment, the pot is created. Okay. So before this point of time, the pot is non-existent, asat. And at the next moment, the pot is existing. Now you can say this is a pot. So the Vaisheshika Nayayika, they say that this pot, which is asat, which was non-existent before, comes into existence. This coming into existence is what we can call as the effect. Okay. What we can call as the effect. Otherwise, we can say Adyakshana Sambandhitvam, which means (2 minutes) at 2 p.m. and 59 minutes, the pot was not there. Exactly at 3 o'clock, now you are saying pot is there. Okay, so that first moment of coming into existence of something, Adyakshana Sambandhitvam, the pot getting the you know the coming into existence, that first moment then is called as creation, or we can say is the effect. So they define it in 2 ways. Okay, prag asataha sat, how is he said? Look at it. Prag asataha satta yogyatvam becomes capable of being said as to be is. Something that was said as is not, pot is not. And at this moment, what are you saying? Pot is. So the earlier moment, it was being said is not. So it is non-existent. And at this moment, you are saying is. So prag asata, that which was non-existent before, becomes existent now. And this coming into existence is what can be defined as the effect. Okay, one definition. Otherwise, you can understand Adyakshana Sambandhitvam. It's getting Sambandha over here is not connection. Getting related to the first moment. It getting related to the time. And that first moment of its getting related to the time can be called as effect. Vedanti says, we do not accept both of your definitions of karyam. Tayoho nahi vayam. Vayam means Vedantinaha. We do not accept both of these. Karyatvam iti na brumaha. We don't call both of these as defining what is karyam. Why? Tayoho asangatatva, because both of them are unreasonable. Okay? Both these definitions are, they are defective. Asangatam. Okay? Asangatatva. Furthermore, napi parinamitvam asambhavat. Now, if that what is non-existing before can become existing later on, then even the non-existent horn of a rabbit also can come into existence. Therefore, asataha satta yogyatvam cannot be called as effect. It is asangatam, unreasonable. This is the Vaisheshika Paksha. Then, what can be called as karyam, even the Sankhyas define. The Sankhyas say Parinamitvam. That it is effect is just a modification. The clay has modified, and this modification of the clay we are calling as the pot. So that parinamitvam, but this parinamitvam also cannot be called as the effect which is jagat of Brahman, because Brahman is avikari, aparinami. Brahman does not undergo any modification, because that which modifies the what is the final stage of modification? Destruction. Shadbhava vikaraha. Remember them. Asti jayate vardhate viparinamate apakshiyate vinashyate. What is the final modification? It will be destroyed. Destruction. Brahman is indestructible. Brahman is nityam. Brahman cannot be modified, and therefore to say the world is the modification of Brahman, of Paramatma, is unacceptable. Because when the milk modifies into the curd, the milk is destroyed. It is no longer milk. If Paramatma was to modify into this world, Paramatma will not remain Paramatma. Paramatma will become this world which is already in process of decadence. सड़ रहा है सब कुछ यहाँ पे, तो मतलब क्या बनेगा कि तुम्हारा परमात्मा भी सड़ गया. And therefore, the world cannot be even said as to be the parinama of Parameshwara. But the world is definitely the effect. So effect cannot be said as to be parinama. Then what is effect? We are saying kintarhi vivartatva paranama de aparanama nama adhyastatvam. It is only a superimposition. What is this word? A superimposition. An appearance. Vivartatva. It is vivarta. Brahmakaryatvancha iti brumaha. So what is this word? It is Brahmakaryam. Brahman is Karanam. Just like the snake is also due to the rope. If the rope was not going to be there, the snake would not be seen. So that because of which something is experienced, seen, is the Karanam. So rope is also the Karanam of the snake. But what is the rope? An appearance. And therefore the snake is an appearance and hence superimposition. So what are we saying? Jagat is the Karyam of Brahman. We simply mean to say it is only an appearance on Brahman. Let that be understood. Brahmakaryatvam cha iti brumaha. And this is the Shruti goes to show that this is how it is in ample ways. How evan cha sati. This being so, aitadaatmyamidam sarvam vacharam hanam vikaro namadheyam tad anyatvam tad anyatvam arambhana shabdadibhyah ityadi shruti sutrani samanjasyena upapadyante anyatha asangatani syuhu. So those shrutis which are now saying, what is the status of the world? Vikaro na vacharambhanam. It is only expansion of the speech. It is Vacharam Ganam Vikaro Namadheyam. And this word, what is it? Aitadatmyam idam sarvam is nothing but Brahman. Is nothing but Brahman. So therefore, ityadi shruti sutrani samanjasyena upapadyante. Tasmat Brahma vyatiriktasya sarvasya tattvajnana nivartyataya anityatva avagamat nitya sambandhatvam samavaya lakshanam iti asangatam. Now everything else other than Brahman is only an superimposition, and superimposition cannot cause duality, and therefore Brahman alone is and is nityam. Anything other than Brahman cannot be nityam. Then your claim that samavaya is something that is nitya sambandha is therefore not acceptable by which pramanam? Shabda pramanam. So first of all, now we have gone to show that Shabda pramanam does not admit samavaya. So out of the three pramanas, one pramana does not show anything like samavaya. Then we have to see, is samavaya pratyaksha or is samavaya proven through anumana? And this teacher will take you through a little more process to show that even these two pramanas do not show samavaya sambandha. When there is no pramanam through which samavaya can be established, then your claim that it is not tadatmyam, but it is samavaya, and therefore there cannot be any tadatmyam between Hiranyagarbha and Taijasa. That far-fetched claim of yours stands null and void. And therefore there is a tadatmyam between the Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha. And by meditating upon this tadatmyam of Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, what will take place? The phalam, the highest phalam, the supreme phalam of karma and upasana will be attained. And therefore, since this has a meaning, we have shown you the tadatmyam between Hiranyagarbha and Taijasa. So those who want to meditate and do this upasana, they should meditate. That is, how is this tadatmyam? General and specific, part in the whole. Now you meditate upon this. That how the Hiranyagarbha Paramatma is the general thing which flows silently through every being, and that Hiranyagarbha and this Taijasa is having the tadatmyam. Meditating upon this will give the result of upasana called as Hiranyagarbha Padaprapti. Okay, now we will stop over here because this much is good for the day. And we will come back to the same topic with the teacher to lead us into how even the pratyaksha and anuman do not support the idea of samavaya sambandha. And therefore, what is this samavaya sambandha? It is nothing but just kapola kalpita, something that is kalpitam. It is only imagined by you, O Vaisheshika. And therefore that imagination does not bother us anymore. So there is tadatmyam and it is not samavaya. Okay? So you can do this upasana without any hesitation now. All right? Why did we go up to that point? Because we were explaining what is subtle body. What is subtle body? We were explaining what is Sukshma Deha. And in explaining Sukshma Deha, we came across the Samashti Sukshma and Vyashti Sukshma Deha. The Samashti Sukshma Deha, Vyashti Sukshma Deha have a Tadatmyam. So also when the Sukshma Deha becomes the conditioning for the consciousness, even the conditioned expressions of the consciousness, Hiranyagarbha and Taijasa respectively, have tadatmyam. All right, we will see more of it. But going to that, before we could go into the details of the subtle body, we will have to deal with this Vaisheshikas, Samavaya, to be deconstructed even through the Pratyaksha and the Anumana Pramanam, at least the Shabda Praman, because these are the three major Pramanams which are acceptable to all. Shabda, Pratyaksha, and Anuman. We have seen the Shabda Pramana not doing the Siddhi of the Samavaya. Okay? Om Brahmaham Yat Prasadena Mai Vishwam Prakalpitam Srimad Swayam Prakashakhyam Pranami Jagatam Gurum Yah Paramatma Jagat Srishtva Pravivesha Punah Swayam Tan Krishnam Pratyagatmanam Vande Gopi Manoharam Yasya Prasadanahamadvayatma Vishwam Samastam Mayi Kalpitancha Tan Sarvalokaikagurum Sadashri Swayam Prakasham Gurumanatosmi Gurunam Charanam Bhojam Pranipatya Nirantaram Tatkripa Dvaita Chinta Kaustubhamarabhe Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha